Yeah.
Thank you for being here today. What is your name?
Katie Woodward.
Katie Woodward. Let me direct your attention to the morning of January 1st, 2015. Were you at the T-ball field on that day?
Yes.
While you were there, did you see an altercation between a coach and a player?
Objection, lady.
While you were there, did you see an altercation?
Yeah, yes, I did.
Okay. What time of the day did this incident occur?
I think it was around 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
And what was the weather like that day?
It was a pretty nice day. I was there for, I was coaching soccer and I was walking by. And
You were just walking by? Okay. Did you see a man and a woman talking by the home plate while you were there?
Objection.
Sustained.
Okay. What did you see? So you said you saw an altercation. How did that altercation begin?
I'm just going to start you off a little bit. Where were you located? Were you at the stadium?
yes,
Where were you seated? Or where were you at?
I was near about third base. I was just walking by the field because I got done with soccer practice and then ran into someone I knew. And then I saw this like odd group. So it's kind of.
Okay. But where were you at?
I was near like third base about.
Okay. Did you see anybody else on the field?
Yes, I saw.
Who did you see on the field? Now take over. Ask that one. Who did you see on
Who
the
did you
field?
see on the field?
I saw a coach and a mother and her son. They looked like they were just getting to practice.
Now, how do you know it was the coach?
He had like a clipboard and a whistle, and he just looked. He kind of had like that coach look. And I think might have seen him before, but he kind of just had that coach look. And
Okay. And how did you know that the woman was the player's mother?
I could tell just by the way they were walking. They walked up to the field together, and I just like based on the age, I could kind of tell. And I think I might have heard the boy like refer to her as mom at one point.
Was Stewart? What was the boy's name? Did you get that?
I think it was Stewart or Stu.
Stewart. And how did you
Objection. Foundation.
And how did you discern that?
Well, I kind of overheard them talking, and it was kind of like the odd-looking group, so I was kind of just like people watching, and I heard him say, I heard her call him Stewart or Stewie.
When you first observed these people talking, was Stewart with them?
Yes, the Stewart and his mom went up to the coach, and it looked like they were meeting for the first time because they kind of shook hands, and it looked like they were kind of talking about T-ball practice or something like that.
Okay. During this time, did Stewart have anything in his hand?
Yeah, he had like some type of like taco or something.
Taco. How do you know it was a taco?
It actually might have been a taquito. I heard his mom asking him like where he got the taquito from, and then and she was kind of like asking about it. And he, I think at one point, like ate it. And
Sustained. Ask the question.
So, did she attempt to stop him from eating it?
yeah, it looked like she was. She tried to grab it from him, and then he ate it quickly.
He ate it. He ended up eating it. Okay. So, What occurred when Stewart was first introduced to the coach?
They looked like they were starting practice, and then the mother left, and then
Hold on just a second before the mother leaves. When Stewart was introduced to the coach, did the coach attempt to make any physical contact with Stewart?
Technically, yes, but I'll go ahead and ask, I'll let her answer.
I can't remember. He might have attempted to shake his hand, but I just remember Stewart drawing back, like he didn't want to like be near the coach.
Okay. So after the initial introduction, what occurred?
Well, after I think that was when Stewart had the taco, and then I think the mother walked away.
She had walking away.
Yeah, to get something.
Do you know what she walked away for?
I think she went to go get his cup.
His cup. And when you say cup, what do you mean?
His athletic cup to protect, like to protect his genitals,
Okay.
and the baseballs and stuff.
And how did you know that that's what she was going to get?
I could hear everything they were saying. I could hear their conversation, and I just found it odd because he said he left it at the drinking fountain.
Okay. Okay. So after the mom leaves to go get the cup, what did you observe between the coach and the player, student?
Well, the coach was trying to help him with his form in hitting the ball, and
In what way was he trying to help him?
he was kind of like, he went behind him and kind of was trying to tell him show him how to do his elbows and stuff, and Stewart wasn't really receptive to help, but he
How do you
kind of.
know that Stewart?
He was just kind of like drawing back, and it just like seemed kind of weird because the coach was just trying to help him in a normal manner, and he was just kind of drawing back and then swung at the ball.
And was the coach still trying to set him in place when he swung the ball?
I think at that point the coach kind of like drew back a little, and then, but Stewart hadn't followed any directions, so the ball didn't really go anywhere.
He didn't go, but he did hit the ball.
Yes.
How far would you say it went?
Not very far at all. It kind of just like rolled maybe a foot or so
Maybe a
off
foot.
of the tee.
After Stewart hit the ball about a foot, what happened?
The coach was trying to give him more instructions, and then,
Objection, calls in here.
Yes, she's answered the question.
What was the,
She's answered the question, the coach was trying to give him more instructions.
okay.
and then I just remember.
There's no questions in there.
Oh, sorry.
So, and then how did Stewart receive those new instructions?
He got mad and started hitting him with the baseball bat.
So hitting the coach with the baseball bat?
Yes.
Was this immediately after the new instructions were given? When did this?
I don't remember if it was immediately after, but it's the next thing I remember because it was just so all of a sudden he just starts hitting him with his bat uncontrollably.
Right before Stewart begins to hit the coach, where was the coach situated?
I think he was right behind Stewart, trying to kind of direct him how to hit the ball and like hold his elbows, and then Stewart just kind of lost it and started hitting him.
And you said that he was behind Stewart.
Yes.
So then how did Stewart end up hitting the coach?
Well, it seemed like he was going to hit the ball, but instead he hit the coach.
Behind him. So
Yeah, he kind of just like swung all the way around. And,
okay. How many times did he appear to hit the coach?
it was quite a few times. I would say 10 to 15.
10 to 15, and where was the coach hit on his body?
It was several places. I know he started out hitting him in the arm, in the stomach, in the groin, probably everywhere but the face. I don't remember him hitting him in the face.
How did the coach react to being hit?
The coach got really angry, and at one point grabbed the bat and
He grabbed the bat.
and raised it over his head.
Oh, where did he grab the bat from, or who did he grab the bat from?
He grabbed the bat from Stewart.
So Stewart didn't drop the bat before the coach picked it up.
Objection.
Okay, so after the coach grabbed the bat, what happened next?
The coach was angry, and he raised the bat over his head and said something angry to Stewart.
So do you recall what he said?
Something like I'm gonna break your face off, or I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was something like that.
And after he said that, what next happened?
It was kind of odd, because I think at one point after that, the coach might have tried to help him again with instructions after all that.
Did anybody else show back up after the coach was brandishing the bat?
Eventually the mother came back, and I believe that was when the coach still had the bat over his head, or was yelling at Stewart. I can't remember if he had the bat raised still, but he was yelling at Stewart.
And how did the mother react to that behavior?
She was upset at the coach.
How do you think she was upset with the coach?
Because she started yelling. I can't remember exactly what she said, but she started yelling at him and just saying this is something about this isn't acceptable, and kind of was trying to get Stewart out of there. But,
Was anybody else yelling during this?
the coach was yelling. He was still pretty angry about being hit.
Was there any more physical contact between the coach and the player?
Not after the mother returned, no.
Okay, well, how did the altercation ultimately end?
It ultimately ended, I think after the coach had the bat and was raised it over his head, that kind of seemed to be the end of it, because at that point the mother came back and the situation seemed to be kind of over.
How did it actually be over? I mean, what?
Well, Stewart and his mother left right after that. After she came back,
Oh,
the two of them left.
They left. Okay. No further questions.
Okay. Richard, there's two major things you're going to have to think about when doing this again for the rec exam. One is leading questions you're aware of. You got better as it went along, but
I was confused. I don't think I knew exactly. I thought leading was isn't true. This instead of
isn't it true is a bad way to start? Yes, but did you see the mother go? Did you see the son come back from the stand with the taquito in his hand? That's leading, because you're suggesting what the answer is to the witness. So you have to think about, I can't lead the witness. And sort of, okay, you have the mother and the coach there. Where was the son? What did you see him do? Where did you see him go? Did he join up with them? How long after? Just basic questions like that. you can always say, what did you see him do? What happened next? You know, is it leading, the son have anything in his hand? Yes, but it's still, you might have to ask that. But, so leading and then repeating answers, you'll see on the tape. They give an answer and sometimes you repeated it. So it's just two, that's the two major things. More, and this has to go with the leading. At one point, we were trying to get the mother, who was away, back after the beating took place. And you said, did anyone come back after the coach was brandishing the bat or something like that? Break it down a little simpler. Where was the mother during this? What did you see her do? Did she return? When did she return? When she returned, what did she do? And then you sort of have her away from the action and bring her back into it. And the only other thing I would say is always, this is for everybody, always think of word choice. At one point, we were talking about the coach trying to instruct Stewart, and you asked, how did Stewart receive the instructions? And that's just an awkward turn of phrase, at least for Southern Illinois. How did he react? What did he do? It's just an awkward way of phrase. But the main thing, if I were you, I would think about is leading questions. And if necessary, I did this the first probably 8 to 10 years of my career trying cases. Is when I did a witness's direct exam, I would have non-leading questions throughout. Here's what their answers are supposed to be. I'd deviate from the script and start asking them questions, and then when I got an objection leading, I'd go back. Okay, what did you do next? And then I would have for 2 or 3 questions, non-leading questions, and then go back to what I was doing. But it's just, you can write out questions. There's nothing against it.
What do you do when you're trying to get piece of information from the witness and they recall it incorrectly? How long do you try to dwell on that and give them some?
That's hard. If it's obviously it's important, you wouldn't be asking about it.
You just have to take the witness at what they're saying.
No. What color dress did the lady have on? Red. Are you sure about that? If you all of a sudden, you know, if it's your witness and you say, are you sure about that? That might ring a bell or raise a flag with her. And then I would risk the objection. Well, didn't you say blue before? Or wasn't she wearing it? Or something like that. Do you need to, and if nothing else, you might have to refresh her recollection. Do you recall, as you sit here, do you recall what the color of the dress was? And she says, yes, it was red. You're stuck with that. But if she says no, well, would anything refresh your recollection? Would a copy of the police report refresh your recollection? Something, so she can read and refresh her recollection. If you prepared your witness, they're not going to make a major mistake. If they do, you need to correct them. Because you have your closing argument where you're going to be telling the complete story and making the argument. And if it's a fact that they have testified to incorrectly, you can't then make that argument like you want to. So you got to make sure you correct it right on the spot. People make mistakes. Always, trials involve human beings. Human beings make mistakes. Everybody can accept somebody making a mistake. Nobody's gonna, as long as the witness isn't outright lying, it's not a big deal. Just make the correction. Get the best you can. If you have a bad witness, no. This is probably unethical, so don't do it. But if you have a bad witness, you can, lead them, you get the objection leading, and then ask your non-leading questions. Did you see the mother come back? Did you see the boy have the taquito in his hand when he came back? Objection leading. What did you see next? What did you see concerning the boy? I mean, but the witness will know where you're going. That is unethical. I wouldn't advise doing it, of course. But That's a way if they're just totally lost, and to bring them back to where you're trying to go. If you ask a leading question, you get an objection, then get a non-leading, you'll get the answer and get them back. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, well, that's still running.
Yeah, I
That is unethical. I would not advise